What's up, everybody? This is Hog Farmer Joe from Hog Farmer Charitable Foundation. Before you listen to Enter the Lab podcast today, presented by Red Zone in the Lab, I'm asking you to help us on our mission by helping children and families affected by pediatric cancer by making a small donation at www.hogfarmercharity.org. Thank you. And as always, hail to the Commanders.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Enter the Lab. In today's episode, we got some major breaking news in the nation's capital. Also, we're going to talk about two moves that happened this week. Odell Beckham heads to Baltimore. Jeff Okuduh leaves Motor City and heads to ATL. Today, we also talk about the top 5 offensive tackles and offensive guards. And then we talk about the big news waiting ahead in the nation's capital. So buckle up, get your lab coat. It's time to enter the lab.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Enter the Lab with my boy DT, C. Henry, and you know your one and only Lady E. Hey, what's up, y'all? This your girl, Lady E. So let's get down into it. So let's get our thinking caps on and let's start really figuring out, is a new scenery good for some of the players? Let's go ahead and throw it out there because, look, we got Zeke. Zeke has been a Cowboy since he was drafted. Now he's about to go to a whole nother team. Maybe he can keep up his yards. We all know Zeke has been ran into the ground, but who knows? He might still got some power, might want to show the Cowboys something. Again, shout out. My Falcons made, their little trade, as y'all can see my Atlanta shirt. But the Falcons made their trade for good old Jeff from Detroit. Will the new scenery help Jeff? Will our defensive coordinators get together and make sure that this person can be? Because it's been a lot of rumbling that he's not that good. He's not that coordinated. But, hey, who's to say? Coming out here to the A, maybe the best thing that happens. But what about other players? We just seen Odell Beckham Jr. sign with the Ravens. Can the Ravens sit over here and take Odell Beckham back to the Odell Beckham that we knew him to be? Let's see. Because, again, sometimes a new change of scenery can start sparking a little something. Y'all think about that. Mwah.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Enter the Lab podcast. What's going on, everybody? We are back with another episode. We got the lovely Lady E and your boy C. Henry. What's going on, family?
What's going on? How are you, DT?
What up, though, fam?
Hey, man, I'm just enjoying these last couple of days before I head back and be a teacher again this spring break. So gotta get used to the fun while I have it.
Understandable. Look, I'm kidless until my son get out of school, so I'm trying to join all this fun.
Ah, boy. So with that being said, man, let's go ahead and get started. So you already know we were going to talk about the regular stuff today, but the news broke out. The news hit us when we're in the space with the 54 family. And it seems that the Harris Group, in principle, and Dan Snyder have agreed that the team will be bought for $6.5 million. Y'all, I can't believe this is happening. As a young fan, I'm 27 years old. All I have seen is losing, and now it's starting to look like the team is finally about to be free from Dan Snyder.
Hey, man, DT, man, congratulations. I just wanted to say, man, you know what I'm saying, from one downtrodden organization to another, man. Listen, man, I know this is a great day for you guys, man. So listen, bro. Happy Emancipation Day, brother. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Y'all's is free. Y'all's is free to be who y'all need to be. Hallelujah.
Look, can finally fix the stadium. Can finally do a lot of things that y'all been meaning to do, man. Again, I see Magic Johnson stepped in, so that's a good look as well to go in. It looks like the co-owner of the 76ers stepped in. So, again, y'all look like y'all are finna be in some good hands with this ownership. So let's make sure that the Commanders go on to the right path. So congratulations on that. Y'all is free now. You hear?
Proven winners. You know what I'm saying? Proven owners in other sports. This is a good look for you guys, man. You guys got owners who are gonna probably hit the ground running, and now can really make some real decisions, man. I heard some talk about, man, Lamar probably coming, not this year, but maybe next year. You know what I'm saying? Some other news. Now y'all even more, receptive to Bijan today. Y'all was even like, Bijan may be all right. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole new day. It's a whole new day for y'all in Washington, man. Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
You can't say Bijan, man. Atlanta talking it up right now.
Pause.
Oh, I forgot. Atlanta want everybody. They want Jalen. They want Bijan. They want everybody. They want everybody.
Hey, we can get our wish because again, we ain't got that many much holes to fill. Unlike y'all.
Man, but in all seriousness, though, I think a lot of people were like, I don't think it really mattered who was going to be the owner. I mean, there were some people who were kind of off on Harris Group, off on Bezos, whoever was trying to bid in for the team. But at the end of the day, we're starting to head to a new era, and the people, I felt like this group was perfect for the Commanders because when you look at Josh Harris, how he is trying to rebuild the 76ers and the Jersey Devils, and you even have Magic Johnson, a person who has come from a well-recognized organization and is trying to establish winning organizations, and even the Mitchell's group. This is a group that is very underrated that people have not talked about. They are from the area. They are from DC. They understand Chocolate City. They understand the fan base. They understand the community. And when you have those three combined together, I think they'll put out a perfect plan into how to rebuild the fan base and how to rebuild a franchise that has been one of the oldest franchises in NFL history and well respected and has had down years for almost 30 years. So I can't wait for this journey, and I'm just so excited right now. But nevertheless, we gotta get back to the show. This not a whole Commander show. This Enter the Lab podcast. And speaking of Odell Beckham is now a Baltimore Raven. So I asked you guys this. He's now in Baltimore. Baltimore finally breaks somewhat of that curse of not trying to add wide receivers and all this other stuff. What it do to wide receiver position, tight ends, no weapons for Lamar. So, but still the question remains, and I'm going to ask Henry, do you think Odell Beckham is enough to bring back Lamar Jackson?
Is he enough to bring Lamar back, like long term, or?
I mean, it could be long term, it could be 1 year. Do you think he's going to come back and play this year? Because right now, I don't know he might play this year.
So I don't think he's going to sit out the year. I don't think he's going to not accrue this year of service. I don't think he's going to let the $32 million sit on the table. I do think that he probably goes to them and tries to work out a different 1 year deal, a different 1 year amount. But this year, man, in terms of this Odell pickup, this is for me a 1 year all in for Odell and maybe all in for Lamar. Here's a chance for us to try to, both help each other out. We're both basically on 1 year deals. We both can be back in the free agent market possibly next year. Here's a chance for us to kind of help, build you back up. You've had a year off. You're coming off injury. Folks have questioned Lamar in terms of his, throwing ability. He finally has a weapon. The question is going to be, do you get the old Odell or do you get, a lessened Odell? That's the big question. To me, really, the only thing that was off brand for Baltimore was paying so much. But they usually go get wide receivers past their prime. They got, what's my man, Steve Smith. He was slightly past his prime when they picked him up. They went and got Derek Mason when he was kind of slightly past his prime. They got some good years out of him. Anquan Bolton. They got, they go get guys a little bit past their prime and bring them in. But the difference was they paid Odell. So let's see what happens. I'm excited to see, if Lamar comes in and play. I think he is going to play him. Hopefully he gets a number around $40-45 million. Maybe can work in some type of language or clauses where they can't franchise him again. But let's see what he can do with a receiver.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, just like I said, new change of scenery. This may be good for him. You never know. Being able to play with Lamar probably help bring Lamar back. They probably can make some noise this year. We want to see, are we gonna get the Odell Beckham from before, or are we getting a whole brand new Odell Beckham that's even better? Who can say? We just have to wait and see and kind of gauge what it is. But again, I agree with Henry. They're both on a 1-year deal. They both can make something. This could be a long-term thing, or they both can go their separate ways and find new teams. I don't know about Odell because again, there's still a big question mark on that knee. That's just the only thing about it. When you get one ACL, you already got a question mark. You get two in the same knee, it's a bigger question mark. So I pray that he comes full strength, full healthy, and we still get the same person.
Right. So another move that happened this week is that the Detroit Lions finally let go of the third overall pick in Jeff Okuduh, and now he is the Atlanta Falcon. And of course, this is kind of personal to me. He comes from Ohio State, watched him all my career, and I kind of kept up with him when he was with Detroit. Had battled some injuries, and also has seen he kind of battled some of the cultural things they were trying to establish in Motor City. So Lady E, you guys get a guy that has had some trials and tribulations, but at the end of the day, this guy, when he's healthy, he's very talented. You see, last year he started to make some plays for Detroit last year in the secondary. What do you think about pairing him with AJ Terrell in your new look defense?
I'll be honest with you. Just like you said, it's personal for you, it's personal for me. He actually went to South Grand Prairie High School, so putting South GP on the map. Shout out to them, South to them Trojans over there at South GP. But I would say this: him paired with AJ Terrell, that's going to be a sight to see. Both of them are young guys. We got AJ Terrell was already question marks coming in about him, but he has shown that he can be that lockdown corner. Again, we got Jerry Gray coming in to help. Again, going back to my thing, this is where the new scenery came from. Maybe Jeff needs a new scenery, helps with that defensive. Maybe he needs to get in there, get that conditioning. Somebody that's going to put him into. I feel like he is a culturally good fit for us. We still got Casey Hayward on the team. Having a veteran like that come in and school him up and tell him what he needs to do, that's a good thing about it. Drake is going to give him fit, so you got a good wide receiver who can teach him how to come off the blocks, how to make sure that everything is good to go. I mean, he's landing in a good spot in Atlanta. I really do. So thank you, C. Henry, for that. But yeah, I can't wait to see. Again, just hopefully that he has better conditioning with those injuries, because again, injuries do suck. And our team has seen some of them in that cornerback room, especially with AJ Terrell always trying to knock everybody off and puts himself into a concussion. So again, we just want to make sure that everybody's healthy, doing everything that they want to do when it comes down to it. But other than that, I'm excited. We're making money moves. Him back there got Jesse Bates in the back at safety. Like, baby, I am so ready. I'm ready to see this defense. I'm ready to see it because it's been a thorn in my behind for I don't know how long.
Well, man, I just want to say, what I'm saying, peace and blessings. I wish, Jeff A. all the best in the ATL, man. It's a beautiful city. Has some beautiful sights, man. Some great places to shop. Some great things to do. So he's going to a great city, and I wish him the best. It didn't work out here from Detroit. He was a little bit banged up those first couple of years. Again, this is not the regime, coaching staff, and or front office who drafted him. And, just, by some of the moves that we made in free agency, by going out and getting, we expected to address the cornerback position, no doubt, but going out and getting 2 or 3, in free agency, even before the draft, and still having that focus kind of let me know that he probably wasn't in the long-term plans. With him being the third pick, him being in his 4th year, I think his cap number was like $5 or $6 million. That's a lot for a guy who's most likely going to be at best, probably your 3rd, 4th best corner. And he's going to be competing for those spots. So I think this is great for him. I think both parties, probably agreed that a fresh start was good for both parties. The compensation, a 5th round pick, and as well as paying like $1.5 million, of his salary kind of lets me know that Detroit was kind of, they were ready to move on. So we're gonna see how it works out. I don't know what Brad has up his sleeve, but he has earned my trust, no doubt. And we're just gonna see, you know what I'm saying, what happens after this, man.
Terry was over there cooking.
2 weeks.
Was over there cooking.
Look, 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Christmas in April.
So let me ask you guys this, since it's both of y'all teams are in the top 10. So with this trade and with some of the moves you guys have done this offseason, does that kind of change where y'all think y'all going directionally in the draft, going best player available, or you still want to address certain needs on the team?
I would say for us, we're going best player available at this point. Because with us picking up Jeff, that kind of knocked us out of going corner in the draft. So a lot of people are kind of upset because they were eyeballing Kristen Gonzalez. So, that it's basically setting up that, hey, if they feel like he is worthy, if all the hype is around him, Bijan gonna be a Falcon, because it's starting to look that way at this point. Because I don't think, again, we still can pick up people in free agency. A lot of folks forget, like, the draft is not the end all be all. You still can make signings after the draft, especially if you know that there was misses on a couple of the players that you probably wanted, especially if there is, a run with everything like that. So again, it can happen or whatever. We still can pick up different things. But at this point, I'm not saying our defense is done, because some people are saying we could still use another edge. We could still use this. We could still use that. But I feel like solidified of where we want to be, we're good. We can literally go offense, defense, or whatever it feels like that we want to do. So, I mean, I'm glad that we're not in the Dimitrov era, because I promise you we would have picked up some type of tight end from some school we ain't know about. Be honest with you. Terry, I trust. I feel like they have a plan. Now, the only thing that's going to sit over here and make me go over there to Flowery Branch and line everybody up and slap them is if they go quarterback. That is going to be my own. If they go quarterback, there was a little thing coming out. I don't know if it's smoke screens or what, but Will Levis came and visited us today, so I do not know. And they're saying that they're looking for a quarterback. So at this point in time, that'll be the only thing that I would kind of slap them with, because if that's the case, I'm like, we could have just went out and got Lamar if y'all were trying to do a win now scenario.
Interesting. I will say this: I kind of differ in terms of Atlanta. Just thinking about Atlanta, I know they got Jeff Okuduh, but I would not pencil him in quite yet for that spot opposite AJ. Let's see what he can do. Let's see if he can work his way up. And I wouldn't put you guys or take you guys out of the cornerback market, depending on how the draft kind of falls. And I don't know Terry and how he kind of values positional value and things of that sort. He may value a couple positions higher than that, but I wouldn't take you guys totally out of that positional need as of yet. But as far as us, though, for the first time in a long time, we don't have to just draft for need, and I'm happy about that. We don't have to just say we got all these holes and who's the best player to fit the hole. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather we look at the board and say who's the best player, period, and who can help us. Because I think that when you look at our roster, we still have a couple of areas that need, some fixing. But the draft right now, where we're picking at, especially at 6, it's like we need a defensive tackle. You know what I mean? But at 6, it's kind of like, if it ain't Jalen, then who is it? You know what I mean? It's probably nobody at 6. You know what I mean? But that ain't a bad thing no more, because we can pick up a cornerback if we want to. We can go offensive lineman if we want to, because we have a couple of guys who are going to be coming due next year, and a guard position that we have a couple of guys vying for that spot. But if we think Skoronski is a guy that can plug in there and be a plug and play great player, I don't mind drafting him. We can trade back if there's some quarterback needy teams and somebody drops to 6. We can trade back with a team like Tennessee. So we got a lot of options. Then we have a couple of 5 picks. So some of our picks are going to be luxury picks, and it's a good feeling to be in that seat, because we ain't been there a long time.
Got you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to go ahead and look at the league future in the offensive line. So now, a word from our sponsors.
Do you sit back and say, man, these walls just need something? Feel like it's time to freshen up your place with something new? If your answer is yes, then it's time to call Rob of Lewis Paints Plus, the accent wall expert. Rob will even give you a free estimate on how he can transform those boring walls in your home. To book today, call 240-418-5241 or reach out on Instagram at Lewis Paints Plus. And for 10% off, tell him Red Zone sent you.
And we are back to Enter the Lab podcast. And all right, y'all, we're going to go ahead and look at the offensive line. I think we're going to be looking at the tackles right now. So one of the first tackles on the board is Peter Skronsky, or AKA Slim in our group chats would say Peter Scantron. So Peter Skronsky, he's a tackle from Northwestern. A lot of people said he has one of the cleanest resumes in the draft. Very experienced at Iowa. Also played with Rashawn Slater on the same offensive line. Now, of course, the big questions coming in for him is his short arm length. Of course, he played in Big Ten, but now you're going to be headed in the NFL and you're going up against guys with bigger length and things like that. And for some reason, this is just me. When I look at him, it's really hard to me to compare to a tackle. I see him more as like a Connor Williams when he first came out, like as a guard and stuff like that. And that's gonna be the biggest question to him when he gets in the NFL is will he be able to withstand that, or he just going straight to guard in the NFL? I don't think that's a big knock on him because I have seen that firsthand in the Brandon Sheriff. He was drafted 5th overall, and then unfortunately he just wasn't built to go against defensive ends, things like that. But he had a way better career, and he had an All-Pro season as an offensive guard. So I think that's what could be for Skronsky. I don't know. I think he can make it in the NFL. I just don't know it'll be a tackle.
So it's interesting, man. And I like Peter Skronsky a lot. He has played a lot of football. Like you said, he played at, Northwestern, played in the Big Ten, played 3 years at left tackle, was definitely a tactician there. When you look at him on film, he looks, again, very, very clean, great kick step, great footwork. Looks like he can mirror guys pretty well. I think he gave up a career during his career, only 5 sacks. And again, he's been starting since he was a true freshman at left tackle against guys like Aiden Hutchinson, David Ajabu, and some other great pass rushers. So I'm going to tell you, people say his arms are short, 6'4", 313. I think he can be, if not a left tackle, he can definitely probably play right tackle in the NFL, depending on what team you bring. He gets drafted by. There's a lot of people saying that he may go to Philadelphia. They may push him inside until Lane Johnson is gone and then push him back outside. I think that'll be a great decision and pick for him. And again, I think he's a great player. People are saying that, he may not be as strong at the point of attack and his arm length is a big problem. But when you move inside, those guys are a little bit bigger and stronger. The outside guys are the guys, if he's not having problems with athleticism, I think I can get him a little bit stronger. And hopefully he hasn't, the arm length so far hasn't been a problem for him. So I would definitely invest in him in terms of a top 10 to 15 pick. And I think that, he may kick in and be an all-pro guard, or he may be a very solid right tackle for you.
Yeah, his comparisons is to Zach Martin. So I have to say, when Cowboys picked him up, he was their anchor on that offensive line. So that's a very good comparison for that. Again, like you said, if he can kind of work on that development, get everything, not get beaten, the short arms can probably be a problem if he gets, at the point of attack from a longer arm defender, he can get sidestepped. So again, he's a good person. I agree. First round talent. That we can go up there. Now, I'm not going to say as high as 10 to 15 because, again, it depends on the team that he's going to. Yeah. But I will say top 20.
Okay, the next person on the list, and this guy has been rising for the past couple of weeks. I have seen him so far in one mock draft going up to number 9 to the Chicago Bears, and that's Darnell Wright, the tackle out of Tennessee. This guy has a lot of experience as well. He has also played the right side and the left side. Some people project him to be a left either starter in the NFL, either a left tackle or right tackle. We all know the famous game he went up against Will Anderson and completely shut him down. He is a smooth operator. He has great feet. I think this guy, where he goes to, he's going to have a great career. I love him as a Washington fan. I do think he can be in our range, personally, but I just think so right now with all the hype and talk that he's getting with the interviews and the visits and things like that, he might be arguably the second or first tackle off the board in my opinion. I think this guy has a lot of upside to his game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. He played against the likes of us. I kind of seen him going back and looking. He kind of kept some of our players on their toes. So I will give him that. I mean, he does have the experience. I mean, 6'5", 333 pounds. Like, that's NFL size for that. He can play right or left tackle. So, I mean, hey, he's a versatile person. I mean, I can see it. But I'm not going to say that he'll be the first tackle coming off, though.
I don't know, man. You know what? It's a very, very fluid class, man. These tackles, man, they all, look good and have, a lot of accolades in some areas. And then some folks don't think that Darnell can be a left tackle in the league. Some folks think that he may be best suited for guard, but I think he's a problem wherever you line him up. And I think that'll be a great pick for Washington.
Yeah, very versatile. I like that. Very versatile.
Now I have seen some guard conversation earlier in the process and things like that, and I think he can do that. I think he's also built like a guard. If you're really looking at how low he is to the ground, I just think he's going to go to a good team and he can fit anywhere online.
The biggest thing is for this big boy is not to eat his way into guard because he already 6'4", 240. I mean 340, and he 21 and he ain't touched the millions yet. So that's going to be the biggest challenge. Sometimes these folks just eat their way right on into guard. Ain't nothing about their arms being short or nothing. The only thing that's too short is the length between that plate and that hand.
We not gonna do that. Hey, they need to put on that weight, man.
He's 6'5", 340 right now. Well, I mean, how much more he need?
Yeah, he eating good.
Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and talk about this guy right here. Now, I love Paris Johnson, Ohio State guy. I love Juwan Jones. I love Darnell Wright. But this guy right here, he is my favorite tackle in this class. My favorite, being like he is my guy. He's the guy I love. And it's not because he went to Oklahoma and he wears the same jersey as someone else with the 49ers. I'm not going to say his name up here. But I think Anton Harrison, he has all the makings to be a starting caliber tackle in the NFL. He is a local guy. He's from D.C. He is a smooth operator. He got good feet. He gone up against Big 12 defenses, even though defenses, they don't be good consistently, but you do have some defenders out there. And I believe Will McDonald said out of all the tackles he has played against, Anton Harrison is the best he has went against. I take his word for it. Now, I do believe that because of the scheme that they ran at Oklahoma, it didn't really allow him to showcase himself in a true drop back passing game. We're going up with 3 to 5 steps. I think that's going to be something he's going to have to catch up on. But he has the makings as well to be a starting caliber tackle. I, too, as a Washington fan, I would love to have him. Not at 16, though. I do think that would be in a trade back scenario somewhere around the 20s, the 30s, things like that. I do think the tackle group is going to be going up early in the draft like that. I like Anton Harrison, man. He a DC guy. He an Oklahoma boy.
I gotta ask one question though. Now you just told me that's your favorite. He your favorite.
He's my favorite, man.
But you think so why he ain't gonna go before these other guys?
I think the scheme is the big reason, and also because of how they play in that conference. Like I said, they don't really do a lot of step back, drop back game like that. Yeah. And then
were they in a zone? Were they in a zone scheme in Oklahoma?
Yeah, it was a zone scheme.
Yeah.
they also transitioned from Lincoln Riley. So you had to go back and look at some of the Lincoln Riley games and also look at the Jeff Lebby games. It's still some little bit of rawness to his game. I think if he gets the right teacher, a good offensive line coach that can teach up some of the things to work on, he has that potential. I just like his athleticism. It's something about Oklahoma all linemen and their athleticism, able to get out of space. He has that. He's a dancing bear. I just like him, and I wouldn't be mad if we mess out on the top 3 to 4, and then he's right there. I'm just gonna be like, just run the board up there. I think this guy is gonna start our offensive line and then potentially take over Charles Leno's place.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy C. Henry, the host and producer of the Fellas Present Sports Rap Podcast. I discuss the latest happenings around the NFL, college football, the NBA, and also the latest from the Detroit sports scene. I try to keep it informative and funny, and we always keep it light with some of my hip-hop favorites mixed in as interludes. Follow me at CHEN313 on Twitter. That's at CHEN313. And also subscribe to the show on Anchor, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. And again, that's DA, Fellas Presents Sports Rap Podcast.
So let's go ahead and move on to Mr. Petty Johnson. I had to say that, Petty.
Petty Johnson is crazy.
Petty, you know, I was playing now. This is one of your guys from Ohio State. You know, he ain't. I'm not gonna lie. Going back and watching us play you guys in that bowl game, pretty much. Yes, he was flying all over the screen. I'm not gonna lie. You know, he pretty much was a right guard. Switched over to left guard. I mean, not left guard. Left tackle in 2022. You know, that's his natural position. The only knock on him is he only started in that position for 1 year. But he still can start off as a left tackle. Like I said, he was doing damage. He really was. Looking at it, you can tell that he's there, very good at the run blocking, long limbs. Again, we talked about it with our defenses, and now with the offenses, you still need that because you meet long limb with long limb. We finna be tugging back and forth, and let's see who got the strength and the power. Which is him. He has that strength, but the only knack is he does not have the lower body strength, and you can tell because as soon as that contact is, and like I said, with that battle going back and forth, if that defensive lineman has a little bit more power, or if that linebacker has a little bit more power, it's gonna knock him back, and you kind of saw that tendency. But he can hold his own though. He does hold his own. Just need to work on his technique a little bit. I could see that, you know, at the point of attack, it was just kind of like, okay, wait a minute. You can kind of see the hesitation there a lot, and it leaves him vulnerable. A couple of times we were able to get past him when I watched that game too as well. But I mean, this man is 6'6", 313 pounds, and like we were just talking about scheme fits, he can do anywhere between the zone scheme fits, but again, he's a first-round talent in my opinion. It just depends on what team sees it as that, and then just get him that development. Like I said, the technique just has to be there because, again, these tackles, these defensive linemen, these DNs, these linemen, they are not playing with you in the NFL. You can't be getting knocked back, bro. Can't be getting knocked back. All right. I should put on my now. He said that he got his boy. This is my boy. This is my boy right here, Mr. Broderick Jones. Okay. Now, this is why I said that he may not be the first tackle taken. Your tackle may not be the first one taken off. Mine will be Broderick. There's been a lot of buzz. But, hey, this man was a two-sport athlete. Literally led his team in basketball from 12 to 2, so he's coming. The only downfall is this man played behind Jameer Slayer. Not saying that's a bad thing, but the thing is, not enough playing time. He really didn't start playing to the last 4 games when we went into the national championship for our first win. So he only had a total of 19 starts. He did play all of 2022. He did play at left tackle, has a talent to become a left tackle in the NFL. Pretty much he does have a little inconsistency, needs to be a little bit polished. There's been times where I kind of just looked at him and said, Broderick, baby, what you doing? what you doing, honey? What? Come on, you can't be. I know you're better than that. So I mean, again, he's 6'5", 311. He's a versatile scheme fit. This man ran a 4.9. Okay, this is an athlete, pure
Great athlete.
athleticism and powerful. Like you can see the power when it comes down to the point of contact. You can see it all. Like I said, he just got to work on that development. Got to get a little bit more polish and just got to get used to being in that role. Because again, he was sharing tackle. He was sharing, spot with a good player, with Jameer Slayer. So again, this is my dude. I want him. I mean, he's actually compared to Andrew Thomas, another dog. So we saw it took Andrew Thomas a little bit, and I can kind of see the same pathway for him. It's going to take him a little bit. But, hey, this is my boy. If the Falcons are right there, if you don't want to go, if Bijan is off the board, if Detroit decide to take Bijan, and I want them to go offense, and I want them to go get
Atlanta want everybody, man. They just want everybody. They just lying to all the prospects. They just telling them all of them they ain't first choice. Nasty. They nasty down there.
Exactly. Look, that's exactly what it's gonna be, bro. Look, we already got the freak Nick coming to. Let's bring all these freak nasty to the city of Atlanta. Let's go. We want our championship.
Golly, y'all talk about freak, man. All right, so we're going to talk about some Florida. We got Osiris Torrance, the offensive guard out of Florida. This is a guy he transferred from Louisiana, went with Billy Napier in his first year at Florida Gators. Been on the radar since in that starting lineup. Dude is big. He is 6'5", 360, powerful frame, enormous hands. He is probably one of the best arguably the best run blocker in this draft. Yak scheme, power scheme, all that type of good stuff. The one question I do have with him is when you look deeply in some of the games they played in drop back passing, he was easily built, beat off the line, things like that, or stunts things. So I think that's going to be a little bit of a question because of how big he is, 6'5", 350. Usually some teams that want to play zone, you got to be like 313, be able to move, be nimble. Can he be nimble? Can he also be able to hold up against pass rush in the NFL level? So some of his game, and I don't think it's really a knock, but the first person when I looked at him was Larry Warford when he was with Detroit Lions. He kind of Larry Warford back then. I think he can develop his pass reps, things like that. He's going to be one of the top guards in the NFL.
I like him a lot, man. I think that he has the potential to probably be the best offensive lineman in this draft. Like you said, he's a monster, 6'5", 340, 350. He moved pretty nimble, man, to me, man. When I looked at him on film, he was nasty, finished his blocks, showed he can get out, you know what I'm saying, and pull and trap. Never gave up any sacks. 0 sacks in 4 years. He was a 2-time All-American at Louisiana, and even at Florida, he was a consensus All-American. No sacks given up in 4 years. That's very, very impressive for this guy. So definitely watch him. I don't know if he slips into the first round or not, but he's a guy that I wouldn't mind our guys grabbing if he slips into that second round. Again, we might grab him. We need us a big nasty up in there, somebody who can be special. He might be a 12-year guy who's special.
I plead the fifth. I don't talk about Florida Gators. No, let me stop playing. No, he is, like I said, I saw a lot from him playing him for the 2 years that he was up against my dogs. Even though we came out on the better half of it. But again, he is a nasty player, and he can go to Detroit. Don't come to Atlanta. We got enough Florida Gators on the team.
See, that's our problem, and y'all need some big nasties up front, man.
No, we
y'all only got one person named Grady. That's your problem. Y'all need somebody like Osiris. Osiris, he hungry. He was named by his great granddaddy, Osiris. Yeah, we'll take you, Osiris.
I'm not gonna play with you.
Come on, man.
This is your great granddaddy. Osiris.
Come on, Henry. All right. Since you want to be a comedian,
this is your granddaddy. Okay, let me stop. I love you, Mr. Brown. Okay, But no, let's talk about Esteban, even though he go by Steve. But let's talk about Esteban. I love it, Esteban. But no, we're yes, Mr. Esteban is 6'4", 332. Played for TCU, which is a sad thing because I'm not gonna lie. When I went back and I looked at his tape, he has very good tape into that national championship. I hate it for him. I hate it for him. But again, he has good speed, can get to the second level and run defense. Run plays. Has a very nice physical physique. That prototypical NFL size. He's a very good run blocker. Has that strength and that power. Good with power rushers on pass protection. He can fit more in a gap scheme a little bit, but he has lackluster lateral movement, and you can see it. He's easily can be thrown off. He can't. It's just not there for him. I do feel he could be a late round, early second round pick, all because of that. Because again, he can only do one thing, and that's just that run block. And again, in the NFL, yes, you can be good at one, you can be good, semi good at the other, but it's just that run blocking is his specialty. Again, it's just he's going to be very, very, very limited when it comes down to those schemes fit because of that inability to move and have that lateral movement, which is very needed for offensive linemen. So again, I feel like he's a good prospect. Again, film was good. He can do it. He was one of the best in the Big 12. Literally a all-around starter. I think he started all 4 years. So again, coming straight out of that Triple D Texas, baby. He putting Dallas on the map. Maybe the Cowboys will pick him up. But at the end of the day, again, that national championship just kind of showed all of this man's weakness. But again, I do see him as being a late round, definitely a second round pick. I'm not for sure. If somebody take a risk on him, just know that this player is going to need some development. He's going to need that development. Agility is just not there.
All right, we got John Michael Smith. And C. Henry he looked like he about to drool over this guy right here.
Who? John Michael? I don't. John Michael. I'm an Olu guy. You know what I'm saying? So John Michael, he just okay to me. I didn't see anything great or really special about him, but maybe y'all can enlighten me a little bit on him.
Okay.
No? I thought the job was y'all guy. I heard his name a lot in those commander spaces.
Yeah,
CJ in love with John Michael Smith.
I think. Look, I think a lot of people like John Michael Smith. My thing is, I wouldn't take him in the first round. That's just me personally. I think there's a lot of centers in this draft that you can get in the fourth round. They could be 10 to 15-year starters. Like there's other guards like Root Wiper and guys like that. But I do think he's a solid player. He's very intelligent. He had a great Senior Bowl, great draft process. A lot of teams seem to love him. He's very versatile. I think he can play guard as well. Has some versatility there. I think he's going to be solid, man. I just think for Washington, I don't think I want to invest a first round pick in a center when there's other guys that I can get later on to be a center.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I can see him as a second round pick. I mean, he does have quite a bit of things that he got to work on with that, just being able to adjust. Again, the point of contact wasn't as strong enough for me as I seen with a kind of other prospects. So again, but he can be he's a blocker. He block finishes a lot. He plays outstanding teamwork. He's patient with lateral positioning. So again, when you look at kind of compared to where, like, I agree with DT, like this is not a first round guy. I will really say mid to the end of the second round that we can possibly somebody can possibly grab him. I know Atlanta, this is not.
Close this door, baby.
And if he does go in the first round, I'm not gonna knock people if they do. I just think when you look at the class, it's very deep at center, especially it's very deep in the interior of the draft. Like, we can say that, and I don't think like I have to invest. And I've been hearing the Giants fans actually been talking about getting John Michael Smith. I was like, Yeah, you get him. And if center is your biggest need, yeah, with all due respect, go ahead and do it.
Well, and then too, like I said, he has question marks about his arm length as well too. So again, it's gonna be one of those things. It's like if you do, you are getting a good person, you are getting an athlete, you are getting somebody that can help your team. But I don't feel like he's like a starter. I feel like that's like more so of a rotational piece to it. But hey, if the Giants fans feel like they can do something with him, I mean, hey, they got my Andrew Thomas looking like the Andrew Thomas he was in Georgia, so maybe they can work with something. Who knows?
I don't know. We'll see. I ain't look like that when we played him. I don't know. I will say this real quick. I do think that these group of guards and tackles, basically after Osiris, he's probably the only guy probably having the top 50. So I think all these guys are probably going to be day 2 to day 3 guys. And I think that you can definitely get some value.
Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl Lady E. Make sure y'all catch us on Falcons Tuesday. That's every Tuesday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. And for my people that live in the Central Time, 5:30. Okay, this is where we go down and we talk about the Falcons games. We talk about Falcons information, breaking news, everything. And if you even just want to vent about the Atlanta Falcons, come on, because baby, Dirty Bird Nation be ready for you and be ready to hear it. So, like I said, catch us out on the spaces on Twitter. You can find me at Lady E_. Tell them. Love y'all. Mwah.
Just like, I'm saying, with Olusegun Oluwatimi. I don't know if I said it right. I hope I got it right. We're going to just call him Olu from the University of Michigan. Again, he's a guy, 6'3", 320 pounds, strong at the point of attack. That's a question that I had about John Michael. He's roughly just over 300 pounds. He played mostly in the zone blocking system. So I have some questions about him coming into. Olu, tough at the point of attack, big guy, can anchor, also shows the agility to be able to pull and trap. Sometimes he tries to deliver too much of a punch and he gets a little bit off balance. And sometimes guys can, kind of take advantage of that. Quick guys give him a little bit of a problem. But I think he's a guy who's very, very smart. He pretty much functioned as the quarterback of the offensive line. He made all the calls, all the protection calls and things and checks at the line. A guy who was smart, very, very smart, cerebral player. Remington Award winner, Outland Award winner from 2022. So, I mean, the best center and the best, interior lineman coming out of here. And again, people have him ranked as the 3rd or 4th best center. I think he's probably the best guy. And I think, DT, to your point, he's probably going to be around round 3, round 4. I saw somebody have him as a 5th round pick. So there is some definite quality in the interior line that you can possibly get later in the draft.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Agree.
We had a chance to chop it up with his teammate Michael Gebb. He says he's one of the best centers in the country.
I saw that episode, man. Yeah. He's a guy. He's a guy. He's going to be a player. He's going to be one of those guys that you pick up and you're going to be happy. Like the guy from Georgia last year, Mr. Saylor, Salyer, whatever his name was. He was a 5th round pick, and he stepped right in and was balling. He did my boy 8 and dirty in that game.
No, and the thing about it is, people got mad and said that we picked the wrong offensive lineman from Georgia, that we were needing to pick him and not the other one. So there was a lot of backlash when it came down to it because I mean, again, like I said,
he's starting for them Chargers too.
Exactly. Broderick Jones played behind the red curtain. I said, bring him to me. All right, let's get into Mr. Joe. Mr. Joe is 6'6", 313 pounds. We don't have any question about arm length here. Again, it seemed like to me, and DT, correct me if I'm wrong, that we have a lot of offensive linemen that have real questions about arm length this year. More than I've seen before in the past. But yeah, this dude got an incredible combination of height, weight, and athleticism. Traditional flexibility is there. We all know Wisconsin brings the offensive lineman. This guy was a 3-star recruit. He started number 2 ranked rushing attack in the Big Ten. Yes, we know he played in the Big Ten, but he did have a slow start, did redshirt his freshman year before he got started. But again, he is great pass protection player, great run blocking. It seems we got a lot of great run blocking offensive linemen. I haven't seen a lot of those good in pass protection this year. So I wonder where everything is going to be. But I see him as with his role is going to be a center. He has a scheme fit that's going to pretty much be versatile, but we can see him in the gapper zone. But again, he's a versatile center. When it comes down to it, I'm not sure about a starting center. May give him a little while, but again, this draft is pretty deep when it comes down to offensive linemen. So again, I'm looking second to third round for him. But again, if there is a center needing team, he can probably go high in the top of the second round.
Yeah, I will say the one thing about Tippmann is for his body type, his arms doesn't match his body, and I think it is weird about him. I was looking at him a couple of games in, and I was like, his arms are small and his body is tall. So I think that's where the leverage and him trying to reach.
Mm-hmm.
I think that does causes holding penalties and things like that. So I think he's gonna have to be in somewhere where it can help adjust to his body and things like that.
Yeah.
So overall, I think Tipman could be third round guy. Just gonna have to work on his length and stuff.
Like I said, he got the name Wisconsin coming behind his name. So whoever get him know that they're getting a good quality offensive lineman when it comes down to it. We all know about them Wisconsin offensive linemen.
Yeah, man. This offensive line is deep, yo. This
Yeah,
offensive line is
it's
deep.
very deep. Even though we got some short arm offensive linemen, which that's weird to me.
Yeah,
I don't think we be talking about all these arm stuff, man. But you know what I'm saying, come September, ain't nobody gonna be looking at nobody's arms. It's just about who protect, who getting there and who ain't, who blocking
Exactly.
up, who ain't.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, we like I said, this draft is pretty deep. The only thing that I would say with it is that I would not be surprised if there's going to be a legit run in the second round for whatever reason. It always happened with offensive linemen. People start getting panicky when it comes down to it. When they start seeing 1, 2, or 3 offensive linemen start coming off the board, everybody got to go grab an offensive lineman. So again, I can see a lot of these players going second, third. Again, if those teams that really, really, really need an offensive lineman like Detroit, I can see some of these top prospects, coming off a little bit early. I don't know about 6, but maybe 18. But even probably before then, you might see a couple of players coming off. So again, this is a very deep class when it comes down to offense.
I think that tackle spot, you know what I'm saying? Again, it's
Yeah.
very, very fluid. You know, depending on what teams really, really like and who they really like, you can definitely see 3 or 4 of those guys. Like you said, we don't know who's going to be the first one off the board. There's no real consensus. But I can see Broderick Jones, Darnell Wright. Who's next? Who's I'm missing somebody. I'm having a brain freeze right now. Paris Johnson. Those 3 guys, you know what I'm saying? Skronsky. I can see those guys probably coming off somewhere between 9 and 20. You know what I mean? And them kind of being in that area, and then folks kind of saying, I think there is a little bit of a drop off between those guys, and then you start talking about to me, I'm sorry, DT, but then the Anton Harrisons, Juwan Jones, and those folks. I think there's a little bit of a difference. So some folks may try to rush and get those guys.
No, understandable. Hey, understandable. That's the thing about it. That's when I figure out, like, if we continue and leave off on day 1 with somebody taking a offensive lineman either close between that 25-31 spot, then just know day 2 they gonna pick it right back up. Yeah. It's gonna it had, for whatever reason, that's like a pattern that we have seen previous years in the draft. So.
All right. So we are at the end of the show, and it's time for me to get this off my chest. I've been a Washington Commanders fan / Redskins / football fan since the age of 10 years old. My first time watching this team was 2007, the year that Sean Taylor died. And just keeping up with all the years and things, I have seen some good. I have seen some tragic sadness with this franchise. From trading away all our picks to getting RG3, and even though that great season was good and all, at the end of the day, it didn't last long. To meddling with a lot of the draft process, to uh, having bad facilities for our players, bad mouthing people around in the building, people that work hard for a team that they love in the area, for a franchise that was created in 1932, one of the historic, one of the most famous franchises. A team that has won 3 Super Bowls, a team that had a dynasty, a team that had memorable players, a team that had memorable, from the Fun Bunch to the Posse to the Hogs to the defense, like all these guys. And to see this now that in 24 years after, the team will finally be getting close to being sold. I can say right now, as one of the young fans in this fan base, I know it's not official, but I think we need to rejoice. I think brighter days are ahead of us. I'm just so happy. I'm excited. I can't wait for, potentially Harris and Magic Johnson. I think nobody's even talking about Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson is one of those figures where a smile on his face, cheer everybody up. And that's it for me.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Enter the Lab with your boy DT, Atlanta's #1 lady, Lady E, and yours truly, C. Henry.